Hey, welcome you kings and queens. Today I have a super special guest. She's the Austin, Texas marketing gunslinger and definitely
Woohoo!
the best in the field. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's awesome to see you, and you're awesome as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you.
Hey, if you're in my referral network, you're awesome. So thank you for taking care of my friend, because that's why we collaborate.
Exactly. All about win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have a super interesting story. Cause you not only do marketing, but you went to college for it, right?
Actually, it's a longer story than that.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who's overly educated, and well, some people will still consider me like not quite living up to the Longhorn promise yet, but I'm working on it.
I got faith in you.
It's okay. They always say that Texas Longhorns change the world. I'm just in process of it. I still have the rest of my life to change the world. But I originally got an undergrad degrees in aerospace engineering and math.
Okay. Way more in management than this marketing.
Well, though, the thing is, it's like when I was going through high school, it was all about the STEM program, and it wasn't called STEAM then, and I wish it was, because STEAM incorporates arts and creative thinking into the STEM programs. And when you're actually thinking about it back in the day, think when you're like that young 14-year-old Hispanic female in an underachieving neighborhood, you know, yeah. So being, told you're good at science and math, and I actually was not good at English. English wasn't my first language. I actually have a green card. So
never would have guessed that.
yes, it is in part of my Longhorn changing the world to become a U.S. citizen. That's a process that I need to actually go through. There's a lot of other steps in the way before that, but I am actually the immigrant from Canada of Mexican parents. So my dad got accepted to medical school as a Spanish-speaking person in Montreal, which is a French-speaking province.
Wow.
And then we immigrated to Texas, and I grew up in Texas. I went through all of my schooling, so I should have done this by now. But one of the things that I want to do is explain that you can overcome all these challenges, because I got into marketing, and marketing is just as much statistics and analytics as it is copywriting.
It's huge copywriting. That means statistics. Like most of the job for marketing is numbers.
Yeah, well, it's a combination of numbers. I would actually say the best of this, and this is where I applaud and I am grateful for my father. How many daughters get to say you're grateful for your dad?
That is true.
Yeah, thank you, Dad. Because my dad's actually a psychiatrist, which means that I grew up learning psychology.
That's my passion.
Yeah. So instead of having to go for a psychology degree, I got to learn the stats and analytics.
That's super helpful.
That is super helpful, because when I think of marketing, it's the art of persuasion. Nobody needs to really buy anything but the essentials.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're now being told how much of the essentials are not, fine made Italian pants.
Exactly. And for me, I feel like marketing is like the cornerstone of being creative, but also analytical at the same time.
Yes. And so my gift, and what I leverage actually out of my aerospace engineering undergrad, and to go into it why I'm a quadruple Longhorn, it was easy to add a BA in math. And the reason why I did it at the time was the market was weird. And with a BA in math, you could always go in and be a school teacher. It's easy to take a tech degree and become a school teacher and be employed. And so that was my big backup plan, because anybody who's seen the Texas economy has seen the aerospace engineering field go up, down, up, down, up, down.
It's a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster, layoffs and everything. And that's actually still something that's pervasive in tech anyway, but at least I had that. And so one of the things is I came back because after being an aerospace engineer, every 6-month review, they told me I spent too much time drinking coffee at the coffee pot, talking to people.
Hey, coffee.
I have my coffee.
Chills.
Cheers. But the thing is, it's like, so you realize you're smart, but you weren't a cultural fit.
And
outgoing. Well, I am outgoing, but I actually, ironically, what this quarantine and self-quarantine taught me is I'm actually a middle ground person. For the average aerospace engineer in that department that I was in, I was an extreme E. But when you put me next to those public relations experts or those lobbyists, oh my God, they think I'm an introvert. And yes, I'm in the middle.
The ambivert, the hell I am.
Yes, I need both.
That's super interesting. So what got you started doing marketing then? I know like aerospace design engineering is a little bit different than marketing. What inspired that like route change?
Well, I realized I've been doing marketing most of my life because at the end of the day, my dad at the time wasn't a hospital employee. He is now, but that's because he's in his 70s. So why work as hard as he did when he was in his 40s and 50s? My mom ran the business. A small business family from the get-go. And when my mom...
Blood.
Yes, small business is my blood. It just said it happens to be in the medical field, but that's not really that different from yours. I mean, you come from restaurants and small. You understand marketing from the small business as a restaurant. So you have to still market. And my mom was a darn good salesperson and marketer. In fact, she at her time, she did not have a college degree. So technically in our little immediate family, I was the first female Hispanic with a college degree. Like her sister did not have a college degree. My grandmother didn't have a college degree. My dad's sister did end up later becoming a doctor, but not initially.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had my dad's sister to look at as a role model to going to college, but everybody on my mom's side of the family, no, they went to work, and they went to work at 14.
Oh man, working super hard.
Well, the thing is, at that point in time, we're immigrants from Mexico. My grandmother and grandparents on my mom's side ran a laundromat.
Huh.
Yes.
That takes a lot of marketing.
That actually does. And this is all in the age of non-digital, because if you think about it, my grandfather, my mom's dad, deceased, was born in like 1910, 12, somewhere around there. No computer.
All traditional marketing. I started off doing traditional marketing with no advertising online. It is totally different and way more work than just, making ads online and like creative outlets.
Yeah, it's about messaging, positioning, reputation management, what people think of you, and everything. And also, so when I'm thinking of marketing here, I'm thinking if that is all my background too, combined with the stats of an aerospace engineering brain and the systems thinking. Because if you look at what is aerospace really, you can go in and be a geek on heat transfer and figure out how to get because if you think about it, let's just stop and think, because you have the moon behind you. Okay, so here's your satellite, standard box. Okay, here's your little, no, it can be the antenna or your solar panel. But the side that's facing the sun, it's really hot. The side on the back, really cold.
Yeah.
And we all know electronics don't work well when they're cold or they're hot. So how do you keep them the same?
Yeah,
the same
branding positioning.
Well, you have to figure out how to do that stuff. And then that's just the heat transfer, let alone about launch and figuring out where it actually is, because you never know where it actually is, because by the time you get the data, that's where it was.
There's so many variables.
Yeah, so many. And it's like, and so how the heck did we manage to figure out to get Voyager outside of Pluto, beyond Pluto? It's a freaking amazing, because there were no laptops when Voyager launched, or very little. They weren't available.
Like our phones are smarter than the computers they had back then.
Exactly. And so this phone is smarter than the Apollo computers that landed on the moon.
Yeah, this is insane.
Right. And so those basics don't really change. The difference is now the digital marketing allows us to reach more people. And now we figure out how to do social effects.
Mm-hmm.
And we figure out, just because it doesn't say influencer on your LinkedIn profile doesn't mean you're not an influencer to your micro universe.
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody, you watching this right now, are a leader in themselves. So like, that's what it is. You influence somebody in some degree about what's going on.
Right. And now people will never come to me for the latest fashion design. I am not the influencer on that. However, they are looking at me as like, wait a minute, you're actually old.
You're fooling me.
Well, I'm in my mid-40s.
Yeah, never would have guessed that.
Yes, I'm in my mid-40s, no wrinkles. I do have gray hair, I dye it. I can go in and look like a YouTuber girl and talk about aging well. And people are curious because they're going, okay, I know she doesn't wear Dior, so she's not buying those Dior creams. What is she doing? And that's where I got the passion for the health project, besides my own, my personal health journey, and I'll be revealing that in another webinar later.
Exactly. Cannot wait for that one.
Yeah, because you have your own health story. I can't wait to get that one on my channels.
Yeah, a lot to work on, a lot to do.
Hey, you are an influencer in your own right. And so when you start to look at it, how do we reach these micro influencers? Because at the end of the day, it's still the word of mouth recommendation that matters best.
Hands down.
Hands down. So we're trying to find those influencers who will actually then talk about the product we're marketing and reaching them, whether it's through a pay-per-click ad at the right moment with the right keywords, or if it's through reputation, social media pooping, and getting into their head subtly over 7,000 impressions.
Yeah. The average buyer takes 7 times the scene before they really work with you.
Well, yeah, and that's the traditional way. And if you're just social media pooping, because this is the era where we don't get to have as much contact and face-to-face contact, it's the amount of impressions. Like, you look like you're more of an influencer if you're being seen in those networks repeatedly.
Yeah, exactly.
And people can see your past. Like, the good thing about you is you haven't been here as long as I have.
I'm sure it has its pros and cons to it.
There are pros and cons to it. But the thing about it being a gunslinger is I got a big mouth.
That's why you do marketing, it's like all about the audience.
Well, yeah, but sometimes it's like I'm a very direct personality to work with, and some people want more finesse than that. And so it's like, oh, let me refer you to my other friend that's not in this channel, but there are some really people that can do really great jobs as for certain projects, and they know how to have the finesse and play the politics so that marketing keeps its budget, so that you and I can actually do the work. Because sometimes that gray-haired marketer who knows the political game
is what needed at the time.
It's what's needed at the time, because part of this is there's a lot of people who are having fear right now. And what happens during the time of fear?
People want to draw back.
People draw back on the marketing. And this is a time of making sure you're still being seen.
Top of mind. I'm preaching that left and right. Like, it's all about making sure people know who you are. Even if you can't really afford it, in the long run, it's the ROI. How much will you make potentially on being seen by people?
Yes, exactly. And still being relevant there. And there's other ways of being seen. I love that ad that was going around the marketing space, and I'm sure you probably saw it, the bag of chips. And it was an ad, and it's like, we're only being seen by pigeons and runners.
It's powerful in its own right.
Yeah, but somebody took a picture of it, put it on Instagram, and said, best joke ever on my run, and then it went viral. And it was actually a traditional campaign originally.
Yeah, that's kind of the secret to marketing too. It's like it's not so much about like influence them in a way to buy from you, but it's one thing to be like relate to it. How can I sell this? How can I be a part of that experience? Like you just said, the bag of chips, people will be going viral because they'll feel like they're part of that. They can relate to it.
Yeah, they related to the fact that they, you know, the advertising company who was making the poster had to do a big change and said, pigeons and runners are going to see this. And they were probably just going, and then it went out.
Yeah.
I'm sure, you know, but that's the thing. And try to lead on a happy note, because the thing about it is negative word of mouth goes by faster. Maybe not as obvious on social media, but everybody likes to go chitter chatter, blah, blah, blah. Can you believe this? Oh my God. Oh my, go watch Mean Girls. It's true.
Have you seen the Grant Cardone thing that happened recently?
No, I must have missed that one. Go ahead. Say it.
So Grant Cardone told his whole audience that he was bankrupt. He was selling all his homes, everything was going on. And the next day, like, I'm joking, that was just for, you know, good PR and marketing, how it spread faster. So it was a hate message. Like you said, he got way more views off of that one thing, even with super ethical.
But the thing about it is, it tarnished his brand reputation.
Exactly.
And so by doing it things well, yes, it goes positivity, word of mouth goes slower.
It's more powerful.
But it's more powerful long term. You don't have to have the PR crisis management.
This is a headache and a lot of money by itself.
Exactly. And we all know those PR consultants for PR reputation management. Mucha mula. It was been good cheaper to spend a tenth of that on the pay-per-click ad.
Yeah.
Just
it's insane.
It's insane. Yeah. And so when you think about it, that's what the gunslinging is. It's like, how do we create the systems in marketing? What are all the pieces? And which pieces can I fill? And if I need a team and a help, you know what? I am so glad you can be part of the Marketing Gunslinging
community.
Partner team, because you got to partner with the people who do things better.
And that is key for everyone watching this too. Like, even if you're in the same niche as somebody else, you can still help each other out and still like leverage, you know, referral bonuses and teamwork and partnership. That goes so far when it comes to, you know, growing your business and, you know, making awesome new friends.
Well, exactly, because the thing is, you love going in day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, pay-per-click. And I can do that, and I can do that for a short time, but I like doing that as part of the other campaign because it's a great way to A/B test messaging and seeing what's clicking. And so it's not like it's not part of it, but if that is the only role in it for the project, and that's the exclusivity of the project, I don't feel like I bring my best marketing gunslinging to it.
It's more static than dynamic.
Right, and I'm not here to help you grow your brand. I'm not here to help you grow your, you know, your sales and the operations and your conversions. I want to see the whole funnel. See the start from, like, let's look at the landing page and your conversions and downloads, and let's see how we can create content and repurpose all that content from that webinar.
This is a huge, huge thing because it goes so far. Like, one piece of content can be repurposed 100 times.
Or more.
Yeah, exactly. And that actually brings my next point, like, so there's 163 different kinds of marketing out there. So what did you specialize in? Yeah, easily. So like, what kind of marketing do you do exactly for those watching right now?
Well, I'm your end-to-end marketer, so I'll come in and start to look at all of your marketing things. So if you don't have a marketing plan in place, I have a 2-pager or the multi-page version, so we can go in and go deep. But I like integrating all of the forms of marketing to see where the lead's coming from, because pay-per-click should always be part of your strategy. I'm never going to say no to pay-per-click. However, if that's your only source of leads, you're not really doing marketing. All you have is a web store and driving traffic. So what else are you doing? How else are you capturing? How else are you re-engaging? How are we creating talkable moments for others? How are we looking at it? Have you looked at your own personal spheres of influences and perhaps your spheres of influences of your A's? Like, have you done your ABC division? This is a realtor term, realtor marketing, but they always talk about spheres of influence,
Mm-hmm.
influence, but there's people that will always have your back. Those are your A's, sometimes B's, and other people who know you C's,
Mm-hmm.
but you still engage them all and empower them all. And then spend time with the people that end up going from C's to A's. Please nurture them because they're not ready to buy. How many people are out of work right now but still crave that Michael Kors purse?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like, people are thinking too short-term with marketing. You know, most marketing campaigns should take you like 6 months to really be super beneficial for you. So if you have a client from 2 years ago, you met in that C category, you might be from an A now.
Exactly, because they need to know you more now.
Mm-hmm.
Things are longer firm sales because in B2B software enterprise sales, there's an inside sales category that sometimes gets plopped into marketing. But you have to do a lot of campaigning, a lot of nurturing, a lot of demonstrations, a lot of hand-holding, figuring out the customer's pain points. Because, I mean, that's your best source of content right there, is what problem are you solving? And this is how I help.
Mm-hmm.
Building all of your content. I don't care if it's the pay-per-click campaign or not.
Yeah.
But hopefully the landing page of your pay-per-click campaign answers a problem.
It has to, otherwise it's wasted money.
Exactly. Yeah. And right now, this is also, like I would say, good citizenship marketing.
Mm-hmm. My big thing is ethical marketing. It's like so rare nowadays for some reason.
Yeah. But there's things that you can do that are still ethical that people would go, really?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what about the Facebook lookalike audience? Go ahead. Have you talked to specifically about the Facebook lookalike audience?
Not yet, but I need to. So Facebook advertising, you probably know by now, if you've seen them before, are super, super powerful. So one, you can target people who are in one apartment complex of the whole town. Just that detailed. But a lookalike audience, even more powerful. Let's say you run an ad for headbands, and 100 people buy that. You make a lookalike audience just for people who bought that from you. Now your ad for your pixels already know who to target for you. So it's super hyper targeted, makes you way more money, way less work on your end.
Yes, so everybody who bought a headband will now see that. Because one of the things is there is limitations to the headbands, because sometimes I do actually need a headband.
Yeah.
And so my headband is actually also my public safety. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. So
but if right, but sometimes you need a little more because you use your hairband. You want to have your hair down. So
right here is a prime example of you're watching them. You should make an ad for headbands and then target for 200 copy for your hair being up, like she just said, or for a face mask.
Exactly, because it's like when you do the face mask, you're going, dude, when you buy a headband, buy two. Because if you forget your face mask now, you can't go into HEB, you can't go grocery shopping.
Yeah. So it's huge. And one of the biggest things to add to that too is like for good copy, buy one for your friend. You all know you want to protect your family, people you love.
Exactly. And these headbands don't have to look that bad. You can also do funny campaigns too, because it's not like this looks horrible. So it's maybe perhaps the new tie.
Hey, there you go.
Hey. No man really wants to wear a tie, but they're going, it's like, don't use your tie as a headband, as a mouth guard. You can't cover your nose. Go back to the 70s. Hey, a little bit of it, like a little hair.
My main style.
Yeah, now we can man style that 70s hairband. You know, don't leave home without it. If you forgot your mask.
There's more to come.
You know, and that's the thing. It's like marketing's creative. You can get to really think about out of the box. I mean, in some ways, every marketer who's worth their salt is an ad man.
Mm-hmm. It's ad man, it's being creative, it's about, it's before, making it relatable to other people, making sure they're having fun with this experience.
Right. But the thing is, it's also very critical to know your audience, know your customer, to talk to them in that language. Yeah. And then when you get to really know your customer even better, then you can go into some more fun little campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When the magic happens.
That's where the magic, exactly, because most of the people are going to target headbands as women only. Nah, maybe you can target the men in the household with a funny ad.
Mm-hmm.
Buy two, one for you, one for her.
Exactly.
And throw away the tie.
I have not worn a tie for a long time because of this outbreak, so I totally feel that.
Well, my goodness, this could be the new tie.
I think we're on to something. I think we team up now, make a huge ad campaign just for this.
Okay, I think you and I were going to come up with the idea for Living with Help headbands, and we'll just kind of healthy living with help. Or, I really want to rebrand, because this came out of my Toastmasters yesterday, but, WFH, seriously, I'm going, no, this is what I'm going to say. There's so many people who don't have jobs that can't work from home. Yeah. I have a friend of mine who has polio, and she basically has to go back to work. And
wow.
I mean, the thing is, like, her work, she's educated, but she works where she has to wear a lab coat, white, and everything else. So when she sees people, she is not only wearing the face mask, she's also wearing the head shield on top of this. She has no way of relating to WFH.
Yeah.
There's no way. And then let alone all of those frontline crews that work at the grocery stores, the Home Depots, everywhere else. And I applaud them, because I can't do it. I mean, yeah. I actually recovered from Lyme disease, so I know I'm always doing everything. Like, my health journey relates directly to immune boosting and boosting my immunity, because I'm always worried that I have a lower immune system. And maybe now, because of my 20 years of paranoia from it, I actually have a better immune system than the average 40-year-old.
That is probably true. That is probably really true.
Well, I'm just laughing at that now. I thought. But the point of the matter is, why don't we rebrand WFH to Why Feel Happy? Because that is the most critical thing we need to do during this time.
Yeah. People need to be happy, feel as though, like, there's hope left still.
Yes. What was the last thing in Pandora's box? Hope.
It was hope? Okay.
It was hope. That's what was the last thing left in Pandora's box. So when we think about our marketing campaigns, and if you're doing positive marketing, ethical marketing, of course, but positive marketing on top of that, you are providing a hope. You are fulfilling a dream. You are touching them.
This is crucial and imperative.
Yes, and that's where I love the cause campaigns and everything else like this, because that's where, when you start to see this, I mean, let's just put it this way. All those medical ads have been doing this forever. They've been doing it with the happy grandparents, parents, and then they go into or the side effects are, and then you go back into happy.
Yeah.
But the matter is, they're all providing that optimism, the hope. You're going to have a better life, even through a pharmaceutical drug. But hey, if you need insulin, you need insulin.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, this is a great point to bring up now. Like, what can you tell people right now on how to, find that hope, how to do better marketing in a way that can, get their dreams still?
Exactly, because that's what helps improve humanity. So if we're all going to leave the world a little better, because we've already shown in this quarantine and self-quarantine, the world doesn't really need us. They just needed us to go on pause, because the dolphins are happier. All this wildlife is happy. It's like we're out of their way.
Yeah.
We just made their dreams come true by just taking a step back. But how can we make the world a better place moving forward and still achieve our dreams?
Exactly.
And we're fulfilling that need in marketing.
So what advice would you give those watching right now on how to do that for themselves?
Well, really go back and start to think, what is your brand promise? Most of the campaigns that we see on the ads, like let's just say almost every funnel that I see, it's based on lack. And we have the opportunity right now. We don't need to go to 80s material girl. That's not where we're at right now. That doesn't provide hope. Change this. Do a double campaign. Because if that campaign's working and acquiring customers, okay, leave it running. But you see how many different commercials Geico does.
Countless.
It's countless. And so there's no reason to try some of this other positivity messaging when you go really back in your brand promise and really think about, how does this thing solve it? And like I just said, we on this thing has just shown that everybody can have a headband. But when we actually think about the headband, maybe Singer can talk about, we make sewing machines affordable. If you can't sew, this is now $100 product, or a $200 product. The Singer sewing machine is about $100 to $200 product. If you actually go take a look. But if you actually take a look at this headband, this is actually a double layer piece of cloth. Here's the seam. Okay, here's that seam. And it's folded in half. This is your double layer mask that people are always recommending. All this is just a tube of cloth. And at the end, they folded it in half, so you have that seam. And then they just did a little seam at the end. So everybody who's ever had yoga pants with a hole in it has material to make
safe.
Yeah, and now Singer can do a cost campaign saying, you want to help your family, you want to help your neighbor? This is an example. Learn to sew. Right now, in a partnership with Joann's store, so here you go, cause marketing partnerships. Joann's craft store, they've made, and you should see and go review the campaign on their masks. All the fans of Joann's stores have made enough masks to give away that they've exceeded their own personal goal back in March.
Wow.
And so now I'm a terrible seamstress. I'm going, there are men that I know who are better seamsters than I am. And my uncle was a seamster back in the day. He made World War II uniforms because he actually couldn't be in the military because of illness and weakness and blah, blah, blah. He didn't qualify. So he went to work during World War II making uniforms alongside he wasn't going to I'm not going to let my fragile health, whatever,
stop him from helping.
Stopping him from helping. And he was actually part of the family that was here in America. Because if you go back and forth in Texas history, there's families that have both sides of the border. Let's just face it. There's Americans and Texas. I'm sorry. If you go back that far enough, and if you go back even farther, we probably have some other stuff too, if you count, Native American too. But the point of the matter is, it's like my uncle was a great seamster. I remember getting a costume as a kid of a mermaid, and he made every little fit. Yeah. That was my granduncle. But the thing is, it's like, okay, so here you go, Singer. Teach the world how to make a headband. Not that expensive of a cloth. Chances are you have old t-shirts, old yoga pants. Make a tube. And then all it is just one line through. You're good to go. So then reality is, everybody can make a headband, but Singer just now sold how many more sewing machines at somewhere between $100 and $200?
Yeah, countless. And it kind of goes back to the whole main marketing premises. You want to inspire people, you want to make sure you educate people, and also entertain people. So all right there, you got the call to action too. You're just automatically fulfilling all the needs at one time.
Right. And I'm going, You don't have to. I mean, of course, you're going to partnership with Joanne because that's where you're going to go for fabrics. And if you get really into it, but everybody has a yoga pants or a set of pants or a t-shirt that has a hole in it to turn it into a mask. And you don't need a Singer sewing machine. You can do this by hand, but it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is actually a store-bought. But the point of the matter is, it's not that hard to make. It's a Singer, and if it's or a competitor to Singer. So, for instance, if I was competing and I was a sewing machine company competing against Singer, I'd use the Singer fan base. I use the Joanne Fabric Store fan base, maybe even Hobby Lobby fan base to launch my series, Anyone Can Sew.
Yeah, easily. And if advertising is so targeted.
Anyone can sew. And maybe I would just kind of go put it in some food groups, like whatever, because there's a lot of people who are going on to cooking shows right now that never cook, that are learning how to cook.
New hobbies.
And hobbies. And so I would go in and say the natural progression is, I don't know how to sew, but I now know how to make the Chateaubriand with all these fancy sauces. This is cheap, I can afford a sewing machine and learn how to make washable, stretchy,
multi-purpose.
Yes, it's all great. But see, this is a campaign both of us created together just now.
In minutes. And it could go even further. We can ask people to donate the old yoga pants to us to help out the community. That way it's even cheaper for us.
Or you donate it to people in need.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot of possibilities.
There's a lot of possibilities because, every food pantry, I donate to the food pantry every Sunday, the one at my local church. I think you've seen pictures because I actually show my dog donates the food. She's cute. She looks like Baby Yoda. Everybody rather see Baby Yoda than me donating food.
Or a combination.
Or a combination. But yeah, it's think about it. Baby Yoda donating food to the pantry. But the thing is, the people who go to the food pantry probably can't afford to buy a mask.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about marketing for everyone watching is it's all about finding a problem and being creative to have a solution for that problem. It's marketing in that zone. Yeah,
exactly. So, and think about all of the YouTube channels now, don't know how to sew, create that bandana headband, and all of a sudden they got a lot of views. Now, if you're creating simpler solutions than the pleated here, insert here, do this here, and I was most people, I don't have time for that. Oh, I can do 3 straight lines to make a headband.
Yeah. More than easy enough.
Yeah, and then you can have fun with it because you can do them in all sorts of whatever. It's okay, I can take a couple of your old ties you're not using and don't like anymore, because all men have ties they don't like.
I have 50 ties and probably only wear 12 of them.
Yeah, you only wear 12. So there you go. Maybe because they're already, if you look at the tie, they're already double layered. All you have to do is bind them together.
It's good to go.
It's good to go. Maybe 2 or 3 ties. And you got yourself your new fashion statement.
It might go viral. You never know.
Hey, I'm just kind of going, no man wants to be choked at the neck.
At least not all day. Well, I know you're probably super busy. So what can you tell people that is the most important concept about marketing to you?
Know thy customer.
Definitely.
Know thy customer. Because it all starts from there. I don't care if it's a pay-per-click ad or setting up a station at, Whole Foods for sample.
Yeah.
You have, because even when you set up a station to sample food at Whole Food for food samples, you have to make it pretty.
Yep. You have to for that target audience.
Yes. And if you have that opportunity to do, take a bunch of pictures, leverage it on social, figure out how to turn this into content, get some testimonials.
Testimonials is probably one of the biggest things too. Like honestly, if you have an ad without testimonials, you shouldn't expect to get too much, transactions.
Unless it's a free download.
Yeah, in that case,
Yeah.
you're all good to go.
Yeah, well, at least you can try to aim for a 50% conversion. Half the people, if you get something for free, half the people who land on the page should fill out the form.
Yeah.
That's my with something free. But
be free.
No, you can't be free. But if you don't start off with what you know your customer and start marketing your customer, and then you can figure out, oh, my customer's girlfriend also buys this product. Remember the Dollar Shaving Club?
Yeah.
Now they're targeting women.
Yeah, they were almost more women than men. Like, it's crazy how that has changed.
Right, but their initial target was all men, and then it transitioned.
So obviously, this A/B testing is one of the biggest ways of finding out who your audience is. But what would you add to that to help people who are like brand new trying to discover, who their target audience is?
Go back and poll the customers who bought. See what they liked, see what they didn't like, what they refer to your friends, which friends. Oh, I'm referring this to my grandmother. What? Oh, my
No way.
There's no way. Oh yeah, my grandmother has money and she's the one who's the head of the household who buys everything for my grandfather. So she makes all the decisions. Okay. Good to know. But I'm targeting you because you're buying. But we can try to test this grandmother ad to reach grandpa.
Yep. Having past client testimonials and A/B testing is key.
Yeah. And not the testimonials, but talk to your customers. Figuring out, learn more.
Like Starbucks.
Yes.
And they're all campaign.
And they're always evolving.
Especially now, it's all about pivoting, evolving, and adapting.
Exactly. So we all have to pivot, evolve, and adapt. Even my business model is pivoting, model, and adapting, because I used to do just like 1 or 2 or 3 things. That's not what the customers who really realized I was smart. It's like, no, you're smarter than that. What else? And I don't like this dude who can talk politics. He's over. He's done. He did something. Well, no, because he crossed a political line, so we got to change the dude. It's like, again? What else? It happens. I'm sorry. It happens. But the thing is, it's like I keep in touch with all of them because those dudes go to the next project, which brings you work anyway, because you work well with the dude. And then you meet a new dude. But the point of the matter is, it's like, then they come to you. It's like, what is your creative idea? We understand you're kind of the Spitfire.
The gunslinger.
Gunslinger. So you use a different gun for each job. But then you also figure out who are the experts at the different guns.
And super huge.
Yes. Because you don't like automation as much as I do.
I love testing and playing with the numbers and the metrics.
Yeah. But when it comes to automating the systems and seeing the flows, dude, I'm your lady.
Speaking of that, what offers do you have right now for those watching?
I should have thought of that before doing this video. But the truth of the matter is I work one-on-one and come into the business like a foreign exchange student comes into your family. So I'll tailor the stuff so everybody who sees this and can actually say they watched this, and I'll know if they watched this to completion or not. Then I'll give them a 2-hour free consulting session and give them a brainstorm of ideas.
That's huge. Definitely talk a little bit about that. It's going to be a game changer for you.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like, but you have to make sure you watch this video because I'm going to ask you, what did you think of this part?
And there's a lot of parts in this video. There's a lot of topics.
So make sure you watch this video to completion, and then we'll talk. But I come in as a foreign exchange student to your marketing department and then help them out And then I'm saying, thank you for helping out my friend. He's awesome. And thank you for helping build his business. Because if ultimately you're the best partner to go to,
why go somewhere else?
yeah, I'm going to say, why didn't you just talk? It's like, this is who you need to go for that.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to you.
Exactly. It's all about having a win-win community.
Right. But I know that what you really need is to enhance your SEO by having a dedicated server. That's not, neither one of us are that.
Nope.
But you understand the difference between on being on Joe Blow's server and having a piece of that server who's not always having 100% reliability because it's Joe Blow's server and not a standard hosting name server.
Yeah.
And then there's a difference between a shared server and a dedicated server.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that affects your SEO. But neither
the T.
to the T. But neither one of us want to do the website migration to that dedicated server.
Yep. So about also somebody else who's an expert in that field and likes doing it.
Exactly. But if I say that is your biggest problem right now that you need to do, and that's going to be your biggest bang for your marketing budget by, that $1 a month serving, you need to up it. You have enough website visits. I mean, if you're only getting 10 website visits a month, who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
At that point, it's like...
Yeah. But if you're breaking 1,000 visits a month, you should care what platform your website is hosted from. And if you are an e-commerce company, you really...
more important.
It's even more important. So that's where I go to another gun. And I know who's best at shooting that one.
All about the guns.
Well, exactly. But they're not all the same.
Especially not in marketing.
Yeah, and if you need a lobbyist, I know a couple of them, and I am not your girl. I do not like to wear the clothes, and I do not want to have their shoe bill. Because I'm just just the shoe bill alone for the standard lobbyist. I'm sorry. Their monthly shoe bill exceeds my yearly shoe bill.
That's good to know. I will definitely stay clear of lobbyists.
No, don't get to know the ones.
Shoes.
Oh yeah, I'm not even going to go into the competing game. It's like, who has the better shoes? It's like, hands down, go ahead. I'm going, dude. But for what they need to do and how they persuade people as a lobbyist, that is part of their brand reputation. That is expected of them. And if
brand is everything.
Exactly. And if they showed up in like Old Navy flip-flops to do their job,
yeah, probably won't go too far.
They're not going to get repeat business.
No.
But that's okay, because they don't know how to do the creative thinking like we just did about the headbands.
On the fly.
On the fly. And dude, we just tripled Singer's profits. Or we tripled, more competitively, Singer's competitors' profits.
Yeah. It's a two-way street there.
It's a two-way street there. And so that's the stuff. And now this is how we collaborate, because there's going to be a point where it's like, okay, here's the basics for the landing page. Here's the basics for the split testing. These are the messages. Go play and tell me the feedback, because I'm going to be looking at you to watch that spend. And here's some long tail keywords that we're also wanting to try.
Exactly.
And you can tell
everything.
Yeah, and then you can tell me what's working better.
Double down. It's always about double downing and stopping when it's not working.
Yeah, and then we can do the next thing. It's like, keep that one that's working and double down with the next one. So it becomes A, B, C, D, E. You know?
Exactly. So you're on a huge plan here. Thank you again so much for being. This is an epic talk. Where can they find you at, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth at marketinggunslingers.com, and I do have to rebuild my own website, but I'm having fun with my livingwithhealth.com building project right now, because I'm doing an online magazine and building that. So please fan both Marketing Gunslingers and Living with Health, because what I'm basically showing with Living with Health is most of my marketing work is behind a non-disclosure agreement or an NDA, and therefore I want to show people exactly what I did to market that project.
That's huge.
And so as I'm doing that, so please like those.
I'll have all the links down below for you too. Also, hands you can find them super easy. Definitely share this video and connect with Elizabeth. She's game changing. I'm so happy we had this conversation.
Definitely, me too. And don't forget to wear your mask.
Or a headband, either way.
Either way. All right. Pleasure.
As always, you kings and queens, abundance is your birthright. And this is the time to start marketing your passions and putting yourself out there. People need what you have to offer.